Hello, everybody. Hello, boys and girls. How are you? My name is Alejandro Castillo, Mr. Volleyball. Well, welcome again to this project. I'm retaking the project. The last Volley Talk was in June 7th of last year with my very good friend, Gabe Bradbury. And well, you know, later we had VNL, we had Olympics, a lot of activities of volleyball around the world. I attended Durango in the under 18 girls world championship with Willie, with Jael, with a lot of people who our guest knows. But what I'm retaking the project, and I'm very excited to welcome Juraj from Slovakia, Juraj Mokry. It's okay, Mokry or Mokry?
It's excellent. It's perfect.
Juraj Mokry, international Olympic volleyball referee, and well, he was the referee of the gold medal match in Tokyo, a very nice match, where USA Volleyball, led by Karshki Rai, finally they got the gold medal match. So well, it's a pleasure to have you here, Juraj. It's a pleasure to have you here, all our viewers. Well, welcome, Juraj. Welcome. I'm in Mexico City, the largest city in the world, and I say you hi to Martin, Slovakia, right?
Yeah, thank you very much, Alex, for inviting me. It's a really honor after so many guests you had already invited, and I'm looking forward to talk with you a little about our pleasure it means volleyball. So first of all, greetings to everybody from little Martin in Slovakia. Happy New Year to everybody, and we can start. I'm waiting for your questions.
Perfect. Martin, I have never heard of Martin. It's a small city in Slovakia.
Okay, for Slovakia, not so small. It's 50,000, but 50, okay, for Mexico, it's small.
In my neighborhood, we are 15,000.
I remember the joke when I met one Chinese and I said we are living in 50,000, so you know each other. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like my neighborhood. Yeah, I can imagine. Well, Slovakia, it's a almost new country, you know, because they just split with Czechoslovakia. But well, it's a pretty interesting, very nice places over there in Eastern Europe. What can you tell us about Slovakia and about Martin?
Well, Slovakia is a really young country with a very nice history behind. We were part of many empires. It was Austrian, Hungarian, Czechoslovakia from 1918, and now it's 29 years of Slovakia as an independent country. Beautiful. We have mountains. Now we have snow outside now, -10. So perfect for skiing, and in summer around 30, 32. So also nice summers here. Unfortunately, there is no sea. So whenever we need to go for beach, we need to go a little longer trip, but okay, it belongs to our country. And yeah, we are still friends with Czechs. I would say very good friends. And we are in a small Europe, so we are part of European Union. Martin is in the middle of the country, a little bit north, close to Poland and Czech Republic, and surrounded by mountains. Nice. Whoever likes to come here, just must tell me, and I can show some nice places.
Okay, we can make it out. One thing I always admire about Europe is you can attend as a fan, or as a player, or as a referee, to play to another country very close. You know, here in Mexico, we to going from one part like Tijuana to Cancun, it's a three-day driving.
Yeah, this is easy. I was in Krakow in Poland for finals of the World League, and I went there by my own car because it's 200 kilometers. I was in Vienna for many competitions. It's 300 kilometers. In Czech Republic, in Prague, you can go by train, and in 5-6 hours you are there. This is a big advantage of European Champions League, for example, or some qualification tournaments, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, I really invite that, you know, because if we here wanna go to watch some a VNL game in Dallas, Texas is 3-hour flight. In California is 3.5-hour flight. Louisiana this year it's a 3-hour flight. So well, it's not easy for everyone here, and I will always invite that in Europe, of course.
Yeah, there must be some benefits.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks again, Juraj, for being here. Thanks for all the people who are watching and listening. Well, I want to start with you, Juraj, with a question I make to almost all my guests. How did you start in volleyball? I'm amazed. I can tell you that almost 80% of my guests, volleyball wasn't their first choice. Maybe 80 or 85%. What can you tell us about that? Did you play and it was your first sport, your first choice?
Yeah, I started with volleyball, a sport, when I was 10 or 11. My aunt brought me to outdoor training center. It was in August, beginning of September, and there were some boys jumping and running on the clay, and I joined them. And it was, let's say, something I liked from the beginning. First of all, it was a team sport, so you don't need to be in the center of the attention all the time. So sometimes you're a little bit out. And secondly, we were good friends. We had trainings 4 or 5 times per week, and then we had trips across Slovakia. So I was in the category of juniors afterwards, and I finished this active in the national competition when I was 19 because of injuries. I had several injuries, and that forced me to stay as a scorer several times. And during this time, 1 or 2 of the referees were there, and they said, you are a scorer, no problems during the match. Don't you want to be a referee? I said, I can try. So I tried, and okay, slowly it started when I was 18, 19 as a referee.
Which year are we talking about?
94. 1990. Last millennium, yeah.
94.
Yes. I was that time 18 or 19.
Amazing. And which position did you play in volleyball? Just indoor, I can imagine.
Yeah. I was middle blocker. Yeah.
Middle blocker.
Mostly middle blocker. Sometimes spiker, depends what that was necessary. There was no libero yet, but I'm not suitable for libero.
And just in the national league, national championship, or national team?
Only in the national championships. I was never so good to be a national team. No.
And that was the only reason you were attracted about refereeing, to get involved with, in the game, or to earn money, or?
No. It was not about money. That time there was almost no money for refereeing when I started, and okay, I like that because I couldn't play, so I wanted to be close to volleyball, and it was one of the choices. And maybe first 2 years were not so many matches for me. Okay, there was a possibility to go somewhere. I had quite good teams around my city, so I could participate in their competitions as a referee. Sometimes I went there for free during tournaments, and that was the start. Yeah? And afterwards they said, "Oh, it's good. So let's promote you." So I moved next year to next league, and that was maybe better than to get some money for that. Yeah. So this feeling of being evaluated well made me a little bit more enthusiastic and more motivated, and step by step, these steps were quite fast, I would say, because it was 94 when I started refereeing, and in 99 I went for the international course. So in 5 years, it is it's extremely fast. Yeah, I can tell you that in Europe, not so many countries can do it like this.
In Brazil, for example, last year I had here Angela Grass, and it's very difficult and complicated in Brazil to become an international referee for say something.
Not only in Brazil, also in many countries in Europe is the same. In Italy, it can last for 20 years. So it's really long run. Even here, it's not so fast, but I was happy with, well, not happy. I was lucky with the change of generations. Yeah, there were many older international referees who had to stop due to the age limit. And the president of our commission that time said, "Okay, you can speak English, you will go." that was the benefit. Yes, if you can speak English, then one door is open already. Yeah, this is one of the things which made
Yeah, no, it always helps, of course, but a referee can speak perfect English, but if he doesn't understand the rules, he doesn't understand the pace or the flow of the game, it doesn't work. But I pretty understand you. If you are a good referee and also you have a good English, it is a fast track.
Yeah, could be a fast track if you're lucky. Yeah.
Perfect.
Maybe
And what?
not every time, but it can be. It can help. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, of course. Well, and to be consistent and to be patient and to do the things well, week after week, month after month, year after year. I always say, well, I was a referee for a long time here in Mexico, and I understand that to be a referee and especially an international referee is not a 100-meter run; it's a marathon run.
It
It's
is. I agree. Fully agree. This is you cannot expect it's going fast. You cannot expect that you get some best nominations within 1, 2, 3 years. It is really sometimes you never get it. Yeah, it takes a lot of time and sacrifice, and you must. I say every time you cannot get something if you don't offer something else. You must offer something to get something for that. Yeah.
yeah,
But
and you
okay, okay, this is it's sometimes okay. You must be lucky. You must be on the right place at the right moment, and you must be seen by somebody who is powerful, let's say, who can influence your next steps. And if you're lucky like this, but of course you must be prepared for this luck. Yeah, if you are not ready, as you said, you can speak fluently English, but if you cannot be referee, you cannot be international. It's impossible.
Yeah, right. And well, you told me you went to the international refereeing course in '99, and Tokyo was 22 years ahead of that. It's a long run.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And this is the problem if you have federations where you let the referees to go for international course when they are 40, then they have only 15 years to go. So it's not so easy in this short period of time to reach the highest leagues. So that's sometimes it's much more beneficial for the referee to become a little bit earlier, because then it's more time to let's say live in the deeper waters and then to breathe and go upstairs. So this helped me a lot, because also for me was first 10 years mostly European competitions in CV, and then I started with these junior world championships, and 2010 was the first senior world championships in Japan, and so that was slowly.
Yeah, and especially nowadays, Willie Paredes was here 2 years ago, and he talked about the categorization of the referees right now, and it's more difficult. If it was difficult 20 or 30 years ago, today is even more difficult.
Well, I would not say more difficult, but it's much better organized. So now you have some special steps. You have rules how to become. Before there were no rules, and okay, there were some rules, but were not so visible like they are now. And I appreciate this model now much more, because you know what you can expect. It's much better, because if you don't know what to expect, you can lose your motivation. This way, the motivation can be there, because okay, now I'm in CV in the top category, so I can move to C level in FIVB. I get this chance next year, maybe in 2 years, I will be in B. So you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But if there is the rules are hidden for everybody, then it's much more difficult. So I really appreciate they made some changes to make it more clear, and they can follow the rules, and then everybody has the same chance.
Yeah, I agree. I told you I started as a national referee in Mexico in 1991, and it was like the darkness. Hey, how can I be international referee? How can I go to ref in the Olympics? And Willie Paredes in the show here, he explained that. He told, hey, we started to change the figure of the boss of the referees to the referee coach. No? The referee coach, they have to develop people. They have, because also Willie told me in the past the referees worked for the referee boss, not for the game. No, they ref to impress the supervisor. Well, we will not talk about a lot about that. It's just understand that things are changing. Things
Yeah.
are changing. But well, I do agree with you. It's more organized right now, uh, and uh, and also I think Willie told me at one time we had a lot of international referees. We have to stop the international courses because we have a lot, and I'm pretty sure that that changed last year. Here in Durango, they have a course to promote referees to another category, and it was pretty fun. I met there pretty interesting guys.
Yeah. I know that there were some from Europe as well. I think 5 or 6 referees, and I met some of them in August during the European Championships in Serbia, and they were quite motivated and really enthusiastic about their future challenges. And I'm happy that all of them passed and now can be available for FIVB, not only in CV but also in FIVB.
Yeah, right. Well, you're right. At that time in '99 in Slovakia, well, in '94 when you started refereeing, it was in your plans to be an Olympic referee, to ref an Olympic gold medal match, or just enjoy the game, or just be around the game?
It was not a dream. I was even not dreaming about international refereeing that time. It was just to be in volleyball. I never knew at that time how it works. Slowly, okay, I moved to the highest national competition, to we call it Extra Liga, and Extra League, and okay, it was fine to be in the good matches where you have spectators, where there is the atmosphere which makes some shivering of you before the game. But I remember from the course, international course in '99, and there was this entry, how to say, dialogue, or let's say interview with the course director and instructors, was Mr. Hassan from Egypt,
Yeah.
as a course director at the time. And they were asking us, okay, they were testing our English knowledge and they were testing the rules, but also they were asking about our motivation. And I just said, okay, I want to stay with volleyball. I want to travel a little around the countries, etc. And then when we started, I heard that, okay, most of you want to become one day Olympic referee. I said, oh, probably I should tell the same. Yeah, but it was really not in my head. And to become Olympic referee, I was not dreaming about that. So this is the truth. I was never dreaming about that, but maybe I was more lucky or happy when it really happened. Yeah. So this is sometimes also, in my opinion, as we said, it's a marathon, yeah, long run. Also, the aims of the referee should be not too big aim as a big step, but to have small steps ahead. And okay, now if I can be at a junior European Championship, then maybe next time I can be in senior. Maybe next time I can go for some qualification for World Championships or something like that, but not immediately to become Olympic referee, because we were now 20 or something like this. Yeah? And from, let's say, more than 1,000 referees around the world, it's almost impossible to get there. So if you are a good national, international referee, it's sometimes much more valuable than to dream about being Olympic and never happens. So try to have such dreams which are possibly to be fulfilled. Yeah, that's what I recommend also to my friends.
Yeah, right. And especially because it depends of a lot of things. You have to do it right in your country, then in your confederation, then in the age group world championships, in seniors, right? It's a lot of process. The process is long. And also it depends in who is the referee coach now, where, in which place of the world is the competition. You told that you have to be in the right place in the right moment.
Well, yes, this is important. But then regarding this referee delegates before and now referee coaches, I think this is a big mistake when you focus on the referee coach or referee delegate. And this is good that they changed that to coaches, because they are more it's more clear that they want to help you. They want to be your colleague, somebody who tries to make you growing. Before, the delegate was there also to do the same, but not all referees understood it. So it's not about the understanding. Okay, it's partly about understanding of the people who are doing these observations of referees. But it's also important that the referees understand that they should ask the coaches or even delegates, because in some countries it's still there are still delegates. So just ask their help, not to ask their telling them you are perfect, you are perfect, you are perfect. It's important to ask, okay, what should I do in this situation? What do you recommend? Maybe they will not give you the answer because they also don't know, but they can drive you to a correct way of thinking about that. And you start to analyze, okay, this is the best way. And sometimes, or many times, as a coach will just direct your way of thinking, and then you can take your own decision about this situation. And this is even better because you did this decision, so you understand why you did it, not just listen what somebody told you.
Yeah, let's talk about your opportunities. Let's talk about your strengths, not only your mistakes and your weaknesses. I want to help you. How can I help you? And I think it's pretty clear that for Willie, he has been here in the show 3 times. I met Willie in Durango last year, and he has very clear that thing. His job is to develop the next generations of volleyball referees.
I can tell you that one of the first times when I met Willie as a referee, that time it was a referee delegate. It was, I think, in Belo Horizonte in Brazil for the Clubs World Championships, and I don't remember exactly the year, 2015 maybe. And for me, it was amazing, and I told it after the end of the tournament when we had this asado, the last dinner. And it was, for me, was important that we felt his support as referees, and this is important. Coach should support the players. Referee coach should support the referees. And very similar was also with Songsak Sharopong once in the qualification for London Olympic Games. It was in Berlin, where he was a referee delegate for us. And there was Paolo Tursi as well, and Fabrizio Pasquali, and Abdullah Alanesi. He was in the AVC, and he told us as the first thing, okay, I'm here to help you, to support you, and to protect you, because there are many people who want to destroy you. Coaches, players, maybe even sometimes jury. Nobody could hear now, but and I'm
the media, the fans.
Yeah, and I'm here to protect you. So whatever you need, just tell me, and I will try to help you. And this is something you need as a support, because during the match you are alone there. But if you have in your head that, okay, even you made something wrong, somebody may protect you, that it is much easier for afterwards.
No, totally agree. You're right. Well, once you completed the international refereeing course, what happened next? Which competitions were your first? It was just in Europe, I can assume. And which was your first international competition you ref?
My first international match. Okay, I made the course in July. And then in November, I think, I received a nomination for some CEV Cup competition in Slovakia, because that time only first referee was neutral and second referee was from the home country. Right. And the first referee who arrived was Franz Loderus. So for me, that time, I didn't know he will once become the best referee or one of the best referees in Europe. Yeah. But for me, he was an idol that time. Okay, he's big, he's tall. You met him, in Mexico.
Yeah, I met him. It's
very, very, very kind and charismatic.
He's shocking, but he's shocking. It's big. He's strong voice. Yeah,
but also very big heart, and this is important. He has excellent sense of collegiality. Yeah, so he really can support you, and I was afterwards happy that maybe in 10 years later I met him again, and I could be colleague with him again. We spent nice times in Italy during World League. We were together in Mar del Plata for the World League finals, and then I think one of the best experience was when he was finishing in 2014 in the World Championships in Poland. We did together the opening match in the football stadium in Warsaw.
Oh, yeah, with 60,000 people.
Yeah. So I did my first match with him, and I did almost his last match. It was his last year in that moment. So that was a nice parallel. Yeah, so that was the first event, and then step by step. Okay, next year in 2020, some junior qualifications. I received these signatures as obligation to become international referee afterwards, to be nominated, and I was referee 4 matches with Sergei Titov from Russia, from the commission. That time he was still referee, and with Gu van Velzen, I received these signatures from him, from Ilya Ilyev in the Spring Cup. So it's slowly with junior competitions and clubs competitions in Europe. This was these were the beginnings, let's say.
Wow, amazing. And which challenges did you face in your first years as an international referee?
Well, okay. It was completely different volleyball, especially when that time was not so difficult to go for a Champions League match in Europe like now. Now to go for Champions League, you need to reach a special group of around 70 referees, and it takes time until you reach this group. At that time, we were traveling in couples from the same country. So I was with Slovak referees who were already experienced in Friedrichshafen. We traveled there, and then so I could participate in matches in volleyball, which was much higher than in Slovakia at that time. So for me, was every match in European competitions kind of a school, kind of an exam, I would say, because it was really challenging. The competition in Slovakia is also challenging because there are many nice coaches and players who can make good games, and sometimes also difficult. But in Europe was completely different. I met players who I never met before. Now maybe you saw that Vadim Khamutsky died from Russian national team.
Last week Khamutsky died.
Yeah. So unfortunately, but I met him as a player. I was referee for him when he was still player in Belgorod, and this was a big school for me. Was Grbic still playing? Was Dinekin from Russia, and Sabani and Papi was still playing. Okay, so big names I knew as a spectator from TV. Suddenly I was standing, I say every time, in the first row. As a referee, you have every time the best place to see the game, but also a little bit dangerous sometimes. And this was for me the biggest challenge, let's say. What am I here, a small young guy from Slovakia, doing? Yeah. So I tried to do my best, and it worked. Yeah. So actually it worked. That was important. So actually I was extremely young at that time, but I could benefit from this age because also the coaches say, "Oh, you are young, you have some career ahead. Good. Let's see what you can do." And okay, I was lucky to be successful in that matches. So it helped me to slowly grow as well. So the age can be a handicap because sometimes old players, old coaches try to cheat and everything. But on the other hand, it can be a good weapon for you because you can excuse many things. You say, he's not yet experienced, but in future, maybe he will be. So this was actually my tool that I was young because I was.
Yeah, right. Of course. Which things did you enjoy the most and hate the most in your first years?
I cannot say I hated something. It was okay, and I liked traveling. You know, I lived a big part of my life in a socialism where the traveling abroad was completely forbidden.
I know that.
Even afterwards was not so easy. So it was expensive. Flying was expensive and everything. Actually, my first flight was to the international course. So when I was 24. Yeah.
Where in which city?
It was a flight to Tunis. Yeah, for international.
Tunisia.
Yeah, Tunisia. So that was my first flight. When I tell it now to my daughters who are now young, but they were
flying. You're right. Your first flight or your first travel outside your country?
No, first flight. I was outside of my country before, but first flight. Yeah. So And if every flight from me was an adventure, yeah, let's say. So it was fun, and I like that traveling. This traveling was nice, and then it was also very nice for me, and it still is very nice. This is maybe one of the major things I like on volleyball is that you meet friends, you meet new friends. This is nice, but you meet also old friends. This is even better because it's like no time between these two meetings happen because it's really kind of partnership with when you travel with referees. So this I liked a lot, traveling with friends, meeting with friends, and also knowing some new places and new countries.
Well, yeah, I didn't use the right word, hate, but the things you can't handle, or it was hard to handle for you in your first years.
I don't know. I really don't know what was the most difficult. You know, that is the positive thing on your memory that you remember positive things and not the negative ones. So, okay, maybe you had to be very flexible when there is some cancellation of your transportation, when nobody is at the airport. But this can be handled. If you are flexible enough with refereeing, then you can be flexible also with this.
Yeah,
It's
right. Yeah, of course.
it's kind of good training. If you cannot handle this kind of situations, it's difficult for you to handle also matches. Yeah, so you must be ready for everything, even with traveling.
Yeah, right. And regarding your national competitions in Slovakia, when you start to travel and to ref in other countries, international level, which was the most difficult thing to adapt? The pace or the language or the behavior of the players? What do you think was?
I don't know what was that. For me, it was good that I can speak Russian as well. So
Oh,
when
really?
I traveled to Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, I could communicate with the local people. I tried to learn Italian, so this helped me a lot to speak with these players. It was not so big problem. Maybe it was a little bit different the mentality, as you said, because okay, we in Slovakia we are Slavic people. Yeah, we are a little bit different from Mediterranean or maybe from Serbian and Croatian, which are more fighting. Mediterranean are more actors. Yeah, so all these aspects you had to first know, and then you can have with some experience you are ready for this. If you are not ready, first time for me was something strange. Okay, I used to give a lot of cards when I was young. It's a little bit different now when I use cards much more seldom than before. Yeah, maybe it's also with the experience, maybe it's with my age. Yeah, so this happens as well. That time, if you are young, you must protect yourself somehow, so you use the cards more often. But it was also because I didn't know that the behavior could be a kind of normal behavior. For me, it was different. That's why I said no, it's not acceptable, and I gave the card. Okay, they understood. They had to calm down, but they were not so happy with that. And then I watched more games with my colleagues when I was as a spectator in the games, and I saw this is normal for them. And if this is normal and you come there as a stranger, in certain situations, it's better to adapt, not to become the policeman, because if you are a policeman, it is a problem. So
Yeah, I
this
think.
was something which was I was learning in these trips to know the culture, to know the coaches, to know the players, to know the habits in these competitions.
Yes, totally agree with you, Juraj. And at that young age, you have to be more flexible, more patient, because if you wanna develop in this career, especially in this career, it's crucial for you.
Yeah, yeah. It's not every time easy. Yeah, I know that if you are as a person you want to do everything correctly, then in the rules is written nobody can discuss. If you start to discuss with somebody, you immediately have something here, but you should not do this. But you do. So it's also about knowing the rules and applying the rules. It's completely different to know the rule and to apply the rule and to understand what is written between the lines. And sometimes what is between the lines is more important than what is written there. So it is about it is about observation, but also, of course, you have to learn that many times on your own mistakes. It happened for me. I remember in Mazejk, it was in Champions League Mazejk Sofia, so Belgium and Bulgarian teams together, and I finished the match with red card. Yeah, with the point. to coach because he was not able to stop his bad behavior. So I had to finish the match. I was not happy about this. I think now I would maybe expel him without a point. Probably I would be more clever now. But that time, that was for me, okay, I have to follow the rules. So I followed the rules and I did it correctly. I was happy that the commission supported my decision because it was really according to the rules what I did. So they said, yes, good. But maybe next time you can think twice.
Yeah, those other things you learn when you ref. When I was a young referee, it happens to me. Hey, the rule book says this, and you have to adapt. And people say, "Hey, take it easy. This is just a volleyball game."
But on the other hand, you must have some borders. Yeah, it's not you cannot leave it completely uncontrolled. Yeah, so there must be some border because we have the same aim, and this aim is that there is a show of players. Yeah, so this is to have still in the background that it must be volleyball.
Hey, I have a message from a very good friend, Andres Villarreal from Argentina. Send my greetings to Juraj. Nice talking.
Regards also to him. I remember him from 2013 in Mar del Plata. That time he was there in the group of line judges and scorers, and that was the first meeting also with Willy Paredes. So I have good experience. And he was now in Mexico. I know that.
Yeah, and he was here in Mexico. Very, very nice guy. He the first 2 days, he and Germán Bobadilla from Colombia. I attended there in Durango in the World Championship as a DJ. I'm not Toby Rudy or something like that, but I enjoy to be involved in the game. And these guys, they were staring at me. And I told them, hey, "What's the problem?" And they approached to me on the second or third day, and they both told me, "Hey, are you Alejandro Castillo from the Baltic Talks?" "Yes, I am." "Oh my God, it's a pleasure to meet you. All the people in Argentina and Colombia watch your shows. You have had a very, very nice guest. Can we take a picture with you?" Come on, with me. I'm just a people who loves volleyball.
Yeah, but this is important what you just said, because they from these countries they can observe, because I know that many of these tools are in Spanish. I saw, but many of them are also in English, and that's first you have training in English as if you follow this kind of volley talks and this kind of meetings. Secondly, that's nice that you invite also the people, not only referees, but also players and coaches. So you can see the other philosophy which is in the volleyball, and as a referee, you can learn from that. And the third thing is, it's every time about observation and listening what's behind. Because if you are just going one way, your own way, as a single person, maybe you are good, but you want to be better. And if you want to be better, you must be modulated by the environment. So your job, what you are doing is that you bring us in an easy way experience of the others. And this is fantastic. And in Argentina, they have great names of referees historically. So
Willy, Negro Pereira, Fabian Concia, Casamichela.
So Karina is there also. Yeah. So they have big names. So also for Andreas, it's nice that he has such a teachers and he can follow them. Not only him, but also other referees. And this is extremely important. Also for me, the best teachers were the referees who were before me, who was nice to follow referees from Slovakia, from Czech Republic, from Italy, yeah, to get friends with them, from Netherlands, and then later on from around the world, yeah, from Brazil, from Argentina, USA, and Japan. I admired Japanese style of Osamu Sakaide, and then when I was able to be referee with him, it was a holiday for me. Yeah, so this was something amazing to be referee with Osamu Sakaide at that time, and now still we are good friends, even he's retired already. So these are the good things you bring as experience, and experience is something we have to follow and we have to learn.
Thanks a lot for your talks, Juraj. And saludos a mi hermano Andrés Villarreal hasta Argentina. He gave me as a gift a jersey of Argentina, Sonder, and I used it like almost every day. I love that shirt. Thanks, gracias, Andrés. Well, you were talking about a very nice point. Here in Mexico, I started refereeing in '91. at 19 years old. And in 92, 30 years ago in Barcelona, the gold medal match in the men's side was refereed by a Mexican referee, Genaro Redondo. And at that time, well, Genaro, for all of Mexican referees, especially for me, it was like a lighthouse, like a beacon, like I want to be like Genaro. But he was the referee in the gold medal match between Brazil and Netherlands. It's almost impossible to do the same as Genaro. For you, which when you started refereeing, on once you finished your international course, which persons were your role models? I wanna be in that place, and I think I can be there. Your role models or your influences as a young referee?
Well, I started as a national referee, as a beginner. I was not yet in the highest level. It was this 95, let's say. I whistled. I was refereeing together a junior competition with one referee from Slovakia, was Vladimir Kovalik, who was referee for a bronze medal match in Olympic Games in Seoul, 88. I think it was...
the men's or the women's?
It was men's, if I remember well.
Okay.
And it was Argentina.
That's interesting. Yeah, Argentina versus Brazil. Yes. That's interesting because the second referee in that match was Genaro Redondo from Mexico.
So probably they were together.
Yeah,
and
right.
And I was referee with him as a beginner, and he was already retired from international level because he was that time already 58 or 59, but still active in the lower competitions in Slovakia to be a teacher for referees, but not observer, but to be on court with those referees. So we made two matches. I was first and he was second, and then we switched. He was first, I was second. And that was something what I admired really a lot, that he was able to adjust to this very, very low level of competition, but not because of his pleasure, but because he wanted to give his experience to us as young referees. So that was fantastic.
Amazing.
Of course, yeah. And of course, later on, when I started to be international, I started to observe more international referees. I wanted to be like our international referees from Slovakia because those I knew the best. Yeah, so it was Ivan Majerčák, who he never reached, unfortunately, Olympic Games, but was in World Championships and what was quite a good example for us, and was also president of our commission later on in federation. But then I observed that, there are some schools in Europe. There were many Italian referees. There was Porcari, Gaspari, and many from the afterwards, Massimo Mangini from Italy. Big names, let's say. There were good referees in Netherlands. Was Franz Loderus. He became slowly one of the best. From Czech Republic, later on was Milan Labashta, was Karin Zahorcova. Maybe you know the name. She was 3 times at Olympic Games.
Umit Sokulu from Turkey.
Umit was amazing because I met Umit in 2003, and that time he was top level referee already. And he was in that European Championships as a court manager. Imagine, he was top level referee and he was court manager in European Championships. And from him, I received many remarks as a second referee. First was Jarmo Salonen with me, and I was second, and Umit gave me a lot of. Jarmo, of course, was a big example.
Jarmo Salonen from Finland. The other guy from Hungary, what's his name?
And Bela Hobor, of course. Bela
Hobor, yeah, right.
He was a role model for most of us. Yeah, the calmness of the refereeing and the beautiful smile on the players when there was some problem on the court. You cannot copy somebody, but you can get some essence from all of the referees. This is quite important. What I think is, it's not to try to be the same like somebody else, but to try to. Sometimes it's not easy, but try to find what is good on them. Why they are so successful? What is the reason for their success? And try to get this and to adjust on your personality. Yeah. So I remember Bela Hobor as a very calm and slow with showing. So I tried to do this showing. I tried also his moving as a second referee, and I realized his way of moving is not my style. I was not able, because he was a little bit shorter maybe than me. And when he was moving, it was very normal. When I started to copy that, it was disaster. So I said, okay, this I cannot copy, because if I do that, I would be like some clown. Yeah. So you cannot do this. And of course, I liked on Umit his really face like a mask. Yeah. No emotions. Yeah. In certain situations, it's amazing. It can help you. It can protect you from any reactions from outside. Now the situation changes a little. They want us for TV to make a show, to be smiling, to be, let's say, more communicating with the participants. But in that time, for me, was a very nice example. There was was Frank Lodehäuser from Germany, who also participated in Olympic Games. Amazing personality, of course, on court. So this is Patrick Rachard, excellent second referee from France, and his very good friend and my friend Philippe Verek, also fantastic. Okay, so there were many to be followed, and later on it was, of course, Fabrizio Pasquali from Italy, and then Fabrice Colados from France later on. So we still, even we are maybe in the same group of referees, there is still something you can get from the others. There is still something you can, when you observe the behavior, maybe even during the match when you are together, and this was nice what he did. Immediately you should think, this was nice. Maybe I should ask him after the match why he did it. And then we discuss this, and then you can adapt something which before you never made, but later on you will decide, okay, I will use this trick, let's say, and maybe it will be helpful also for me.
And I think the most important thing about what you are saying is you have to be always open to learn more. 2 years ago, here in my show was Karsh Kirai in my show. It's the only time in my almost 200 shows that I was nervous, because he's the GOAT, he's the greatest of all time. What can you ask to Karch? And he told me one thing that I remember very well. I asked him about his greatest skill, and he told me, I'm a permanent learner. I'm always learning. I don't know all, and I have to be open to learn more from different people. And well, if Karsh Kirai is saying that, I think all of we involved with volleyball, we can't think different, I think.
I can tell you, I observed him during these competitions in VNL and in Olympics now, because there was a lot of time for that. And I can tell you that it, for me, was amazing to observe his professionalism during these tournaments, because he gave the floor to Luca Slabe as an assistant coach without interrupting him. Okay, now you are talking, talk to yourself. And the other thing, before, especially it was before these finals with Hernan Casamichela, we did that, he was fully concentrated on the match. Even small interruption before the game, he replied kind of angry because you disturbed him from his concentration. And his concentration was visible, even they were leading quite a lot in the third set, and they were so close to the gold medal. You couldn't see the emotions so well that, okay, we are already there. There was no relaxation yet. He was focused until the last ball. And after the last ball, there was, of course, an explosion of emotions. But he was trying to hide his emotions in order to protect also girls, or let's say players, from being overexcited, because it can be dangerous. And this was, for me, his professionalism. I appreciated really a lot on his behavior, how he can handle his own emotions in order to protect the team from overjoy, let's say, which could be preterm.
You're right. Do you? I get noticed 3 weeks 3 weeks ago that Karsh Kirai hid for the team that he had cancer for a year, just for the thing you are saying, to not interfere with the concentration of the team to getting the gold medal match. I always told that in all my shows, in all my analysis. For Team USA women, not getting the gold medal match, getting the silver medal is a total failure for them, because they are focused about that. They're very concentrated about that. Karch, and that's the mentality he gave to the team. Silver medal is always good in Olympics. Don't misunderstand me, but it, I think for me it makes a pretty good match with the things you're saying. He was very focused, very concentrated, and not not considering he had a high advantage in the third set. Okay, let's get focused in the goal.
And this reminds me also one thing I tell to my colleagues as well. We should leave, when we are going for some match as a referee, we should leave all our problems at home. Because when you enter the hall, nobody from the players and coaches is interested in your problems at work, that you are divorcing, that you have some disease, or your father has some problems. In that situations, if you cannot suppress these kind of emotions and suppress them in a way that it's not influencing your performance, it's better to refuse this nomination. Because if you are not fully focused on the match, if you are not there to give your best performance, then it can be a catastrophe. Of course, maybe the match is easy and you can handle it with, we say, with a hand in a pocket, but it's every time risky because you never know what kind of match is waiting for you. So from this point of view, it's very important to be able to suppress your problems and your emotions you have at home somehow, not to influence your performance. Nobody's interested in that. That your car was broken when you were traveling to the airport on this trip. You have to forget immediately and then to solve the problem afterwards. After the match, you can solve many problems. And if you are able to do that, it's much easier for you to handle the match. Everybody is happy. Of course, it is very difficult. And you have to work on that, on this ability to hide your personal problems from the public.
Yeah, right. I want to stay attached to Olympics, of course. I have one message from Mexico. My very good friend Rudy Costero says hi, and Isabel Frias also. And for you, Zdravko Jakisa, always nice to listen to Juraj and his experience. Greetings from PIH.
Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Bosnia
Thank you very much for these greetings. Zdravko is among the group of slowly becoming top referees in Europe. So we will hear a lot about him, I'm sure, in future. And I really want to be referee with him, with Zdravko.
Bosnia Herzegovina, also a small country in population, right?
Yeah, it's a small country. It was ex-Yugoslavia, let's say, before.
I had made this question to another people from countries, Serbia, Montenegro, etc. And I will ask you this for you. What makes the difference in your words? I told you that Mexico, we are 130 million people, a lot of people. But Slovenia, they have 2.1 million people, and they have been 3 times runner-ups in the European Championship. I mean, what do you think are the strengths in this kind of countries that you do, at least in sports and at least in volleyball, better than in countries like mine, Mexico, 130 million people? When I think of that, I imagine, I don't know, 50,000 great volleyball players we should have. What do you think you do well in your countries in sports?
Yeah, there are many factors. I'm not specialist in this, but I think there can be, one of the reasons could be that if you are a small country, you want to show that you are at the same level as the other countries are. You want to show that even this small country can be the best. And this is a great motivation for you. Previously, we were, let's say, for example, Czech and Slovak, we were Czechoslovakia. And every time, okay, there was, we were a little bit in a shadow of Czechs, let's say. And now we want to show, okay, we are maybe even the same quality as they are, not the better, but the same quality to be real members of the European community and the European countries. And this is also for Slovenians. They are one of the smallest country in European Union, but they try to show us that they are the best. When you take the population of Italy and Slovenia, they were now finalists of the European Championships. You cannot even compare that. You cannot compare with the number of referees, with the number of players, coaches, etc. But their professionalism, they can focus on that so well that they are simply the best. But they are not the best only in volleyball. They are good in ice hockey. They are good in jumping. There are many sports they are excellent. So something what they learn at school to be a patriot and to demonstrate by sport, not by power, maybe not by economy, not by science, but by sport, to demonstrate that, okay, you have to count on us because we are here. So I think this can be behind it, a kind of good motivation.
All right, perfect. Thanks a lot. And talking about Slovakia, how big is volleyball in Slovakia? How is organized volleyball in Slovakia? You have pro league or just a club league, club volleyball? What can you tell us about that? To understand better volleyball in Slovakia.
Unfortunately, with the volleyball in Slovakia is now a little bit, I don't want to use this word, but probably it's the best word. It's a little bit dying.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and COVID didn't help a lot because our government decided to make such restrictions that sports, especially sports of youth, is one of the first which is stopped, what I do not consider as correct. So even now, all competitions of youth and juniors is stopped currently now. It's not running already for 2 months. And this is disaster because this is exactly the period when these competitions are running usually in Slovakia, starting from October until April. And if you stopped in the beginning of November, whole December, and now probably also January will be stopped because of the 5th wave, or I don't know which wave it is of COVID, then that is a problem. Yeah. And secondly, also the interest in other sports is a little bit growing compared to volleyball in Slovakia. So there is this field hockey, and ice hockey, of course, is very popular. And then football is popular. I know football is popular in all countries, but this a little bit limits volleyball. And I don't know what can help. Now we have change in federations. We will see, because they are trying to direct more money, especially for junior and youth volleyball, and at school volleyball. We will see if it helps, because I know that in Poland and in Czech Republic, as our neighbors, they invested a huge money in schools and in volleyball at schools, and now it's coming back, because you can see Poland, one of the top teams in seniors, because they started 20 years, 25 years ago with the youth. Czechs slowly are becoming better and better again, because they were on the top now after short break. So I only hope that these changes in Slovakia will be a little bit better. We have not professional league, we have just a club competition. There are some semi-professional players who get some small money for that, but it's not so much. And then we have some regional competitions, of course, as well. But okay, when I know it better with referees. When I compare, for example, Italy with 5,000 or 6,000 referees, I don't know exact number, or maybe 4,000 referees, and in Slovakia, where we are maybe 120, it's a big difference. And if you have from 120 referees 9 or 10 international, almost everybody is international. So it's a little bit difficult. The benefit of Europe compared to some other countries is that if you are international referee, you go regularly for some competitions, for Champions League, CV Cup, Challenge Cup, or some qualification tournaments. So you have contact with relatively good volleyball, even your national competition is not running so well. That is also one of the reasons why in Champions League, they created this group of, let's say, 70 or 75 referees, because they get more matches in high-level competitions. So they are ready for these high-level competitions. Yeah, so this is the purpose, to make them not have 1 or 2 or 3 matches per season, but to give them 5 or 6 matches, so they are much better afterwards. Yeah, so this is the reason, and this helps us a lot, even from countries where the volleyball is not so good. If I go for a match to Italy or to Russia or to Germany or to Belgium or wherever, Poland, then I have this contact with good volleyball, with good level of volleyball, and I can grow.
Yeah, and as I told you, it's a disadvantage we have in Norseca, for example, long distances, flying from Mexico to Vancouver, it's a 5-hour flight, for example. It's different. It's just different. It's not better or worse. It's different.
I agree. Even here in Russia, sometimes you have to fly long distances for the European competitions if you go to Siberia, but it's not so many. Yeah, so normally you get much shorter flights, of course. Yeah, it's easier, or sometimes by car.
Well, last year in Durango, I met the Slovakia team with Marek Maliki. I was impressed. Very, very nice team. Very entertaining to watch the game of these young ladies. Obviously, they are not the tallest or the strongest, but I really like the way they play. I made good friendship with all of them, with the coaches. I was a DJ there, and they told me, "Hey, please play." What's the name of this group? Asha. No, I don't remember. But a lot of parents went there. A group of 10 or 12 made the trip from Slovakia to Mexico to Durango. They don't speak a word of English, a word of Spanish, but they keep cheering all the time the team. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, this is a kind of tradition for national teams, especially for women, junior women or girls, that they create a nice group which is full of fun, and they can get some support from their parents. We have a national center for volleyball for girls in Nitra. It's in let's say southern western part of Slovakia, close to the capital. And they participate also in the national competition as a team. So they create a nice atmosphere also during their own matches. And important is that they have kind of motivation. Probably you know that Slovakia was originally not nominated for these World Championships, and they got to this position because some other teams refused to participate due to COVID restrictions. So for them, it was like a miracle to be qualified. And then they tried to do their best, and they were not far away from a surprise, I would say. Yeah, they were playing quite well. Unfortunately, then they lost some matches. I don't remember exactly with which team I followed, 3 or 4 matches. It was too late or too early at 3 a.m. But I could see some matches, and they were enthusiastic, and that is important. Even many times, if you don't have good skills or so good skills, you can compensate that with this kind of enthusiasm. And as a coach, you have to recognize that. I don't say they don't have skills. I just say that sometimes even the teams are maybe opposite regarding the skills of volleyball, but with the motivation in the match, with the good psychological preparation, it can be opposite. That's the reason why sometimes you expect a result which will be 3-0 for, let's say, Brazil, and suddenly France will win. Yeah, so this can be the reason.
Yeah, right. Okay. Have you ever ref beach volleyball or just indoor?
I did. I was beach volleyball referee in Slovakia in 96, 7, 8, 9, and 2000. And then when I became international, I stopped. It was too much. It was simply too much. I have to work. I have some family, and it's in my I stopped even before FIVB decided to split it. So I stopped before with beach volleyball. I can go to see sometimes, not very often. It's different sport. Yeah, I was happy that in Rio during Olympics our hotel was close to Copacabana, so I was several times at the
amazing stadium over there.
So I was several times there to watch. It was nice. It was at midnight, fantastic atmosphere, but not as a referee. No.
And did you enjoy the refereeing beach?
Yeah, it was different. Was good for me that I started to be referee in the beach before I entered the highest national league. So I met many players from national competition in this beach because they played during summer beach events and so when I entered the national competition, the highest level, I knew already many of these players and they knew me. So it was a little bit benefit for me finally. But okay, I like that, but not as a long term. No. It's other sport. It's more fun. I like fun, but it's different kind of fun I like. Yeah, so
Yeah, totally agree with you. Well, I prefer obviously more indoor than beach. I don't enjoy the feeling of sand on in my feet. Never. But it's fun to watch a good game of beach volleyball with very high level players. No, and in indoor I can go there and watch and enjoy 12 games. Not in beach for me.
I like finger passes, and in beach, finger passes is a little bit complicated.
Yeah. Oh, well, talking about that, I have a question. I wrote the question here about rules. If it were up to you, Juraj, if it were up to you, if Willie Perez called you or Alex Steele called you, hey, Juraj, which rule would you change in the next squad? Which rule will be that?
It's a difficult question. I'm not here to think about, but okay, there are some things I would maybe promote more. I know there are some tests about in some countries and competitions about the second hit to make it completely free from doubles.
Mark Lebedo or people like that, they are very they make observations every time about that, about the second touch.
And I think the second touch should be the same as the first. It means as soon as the ball is not flying to the other side, to the opponent, it should be more free. Of course, not caught ball or thrown ball, but if it is a double, who cares? Yeah? Especially in younger players, it would allow much more volleyball than now, because if you are a referee and you whistle these doubles too often if the technique is not so good, I think it's limiting a lot. So that would be one thing I would go for this, maybe in higher levels as well. And maybe the second one is it's about the positional faults. Maybe you saw now that there, or you know for sure that there is some change in the rules and it's a little bit more flexible than before, but I would be even more flexible with this.
Yeah.
In my opinion, okay, there is some benefit when you are in a good position, but why not to give this benefit? Okay, they must follow some order. Somebody must go to serve. They know that. They should put in this position before the service, but as soon as you whistle, make them free. They still get this position.
Yeah, who cares?
Why not to be free? That's my thing. Yeah, that's my feeling. So I would completely forget that, but it's not so easy. I know that the rules have some consequences. Yeah, so it's bound together. It's not completely, how to say, free from that. So this is another thing. And then there is a problem all the time. We are talking about the time of the matches, duration of the games, and unpredictability of the duration. This is very difficult. I observe now during these clubs world championships that they try to introduce some timing for service. There should be 15 seconds between the end. It's so difficult to introduce this because we have quick mopping system, we have substitutions, we have challenge requests, and there is a red lamp by the TV for replace. All these delays more than 15 seconds. So then if you try to follow this 15 seconds interval, it's like there is no, how to say, there should be some. I remember that when I started to be referee, they told me the match has or should have a rhythm. It should not be fast and then slow, fast and slow. The match should have some rhythm. Any changes in this rhythm are disturbing. I understand that we are doing that for spectators. But on the other hand, we are not doing that only for spectators on TV. I don't care about VNL. There were no spectators in the hall. We do everything for TV spectators. So if there is some prolongation because of replay, the players must understand. But if we are in a hall with 10,000 spectators, and these people are waiting there because there is 10 or 15 seconds delay due to replay, Okay, maybe in the hall there is a big screen and they can watch there, but in many halls there is not, and then they cannot see this. So they're just waiting. Then, okay, there is time for you and for some DJs. They can do some entertainment, of course. But on the other hand, the rhythm is not there. Then there is other situation where is nothing to replay and you have to be fast. This is against my philosophy of rhythm of the volleyball. Of course, we are fully in hands of TV. We follow what TV says, but you asked me, so I answered. So something to do with this rhythm, yeah.
Hey, Juraj, nobody's watching, just you and me.
No, Big Brother is every time watching.
No, well, it's a long discussion for a long time, but at the end, yeah, I think volleyball also in this time we have as a sport the challenge to make the sport more likable for TV, more likable for big crowds, you know, in general. Last year, for example, what do you think about this new project in the United States, the Athletes Unlimited Volleyball? It's a more like a fantasy game. No, the winner is no a team, is a player, adding points in different situations of the game. But I think the most interesting thing for Athletes Unlimited Volleyball, I want to hear your opinion, is that we will play three sets. It doesn't matter. Well, it just matters the total number of points of the for the winning team. It made pretty standard 1 hour and 20, 1 hour and 30 minutes of time. And I think that point was very attractive for the networks in the United States, who is a very, very special market. But what do you think about this? Do you think it's possible that in Europe, sometimes can make this kind of experiments?
Okay, I cannot. I watched maybe only 1 or 2 matches with this, and I didn't follow it so well. But it's good for some tournaments, not for some competitions like when you need to. Okay, for if you are talking about athletes, it's almost like a beach volleyball. There are only 2, but we are talking about volleyball, which is a team sport with substitutes and all of them, and it's completely different sport from this point of view. Yeah. So okay, if it's 3 sets and counting the points, you can do whichever rules you want. But we played tournaments here with many players. We call it Christmas tournament. It was 25th of December. We met 50 people, and we created the teams by randomization, and then we changed the teams. And then the best was not the team, but the best was the player who got most victories with different teams. Very similar to this, and it was 25 years ago. But it was because we created something on the base of volleyball. But it's not volleyball. Volleyball competition is with 6 players. It has some reason why we have these players. Okay, we introduced libero, but still there are 6 players. And it's a team sport. It's not a single player sport. Of course, it can be changed, the counting of points, and maybe we can discuss why for penalty there is a point. I would skip this point because for me, it's a little bit, how to say, why a team should be punished due to some problem of one person with a point. It's not fair. Let's go like a football. There is not automatically goal if somebody is rude on the referee. Go out, finish, and we continue to play on court. So this is also 2 things to be considered about this kind of things. But coming back to this, I'm in favor in a team spirit in volleyball. This is for me a team sport, and I like this team spirit in volleyball.
Okay, no, thanks. It's always enjoyable to hear different points of view, and yours is good. Thanks a lot for that, Juraj. Talking about Olympic Games, well, your first Olympic Games were in Rio, second in Tokyo. On the first was for 2020. They moved to 2021. But well, what do you think? How did you get the notice of your nomination for Rio, then for Tokyo? what was your reaction about that? And please tell us a little about the process from when you get noticed to go to Rio and then finishing in Tokyo, reffing the Olympic gold medal match.
Well, Rio was first. First is every time first. So it was amazing how we get this information. Actually, I was nominated for January 2016 was a European Olympic qualification tournament. And it was played in Berlin again, Berlin, Germany. And we were 8 referees. There was also Luciano Gaspari there with us, and there was Fabrizio Pasquali. We were nominated together finally. And in that moment, when it was maybe third or fourth day of competition, I received a message from Susana Rodriguez from Spain, also fantastic friend.
Amazing. She retired. She retired last year.
She will come back. Don't worry. And in some way, she will come back.
Of course.
And was amazing. We received a message: check your Carlson Wagonlit. Carlson Wagonlit is a company which provides air tickets. Check the application in your mobile phone. I didn't have that. I didn't have this application, so I downloaded the application. I entered my data, and suddenly there was a flight to Rio for August, and I was shocked. So before receiving official nomination from FIVB, I got in my application in mobile phone a flight to Rio. The dates were exactly for Olympic Games. So I asked Fabrizio Pasquali when I entered the hall, and he said, I don't have this application. He entered, and he had the flight. So immediately we kissed. There was fantastic time. Yeah, it was really amazing. Of course, it was not yet official, but if you get the flight ticket, then it means it's almost official. And then in 3 weeks approximately, we received a message from FIVB with a letter from the president, and that was nice. It was really nice and a good surprise, because as I said, not many can be nominated, unfortunately. And it's important to participate, not to win, as we say every time. And I was there with Piotr Dudek from Poland in Rio already. And when we made our first match, we said after the match, okay, now we are Olympians. Even no more match we receive as a nomination, we can go home as Olympians, because we were already referees at the Olympic Games. So it was a good feeling. And there were nice matches in Rio, perfect time, a full hall almost all the time. Not so good result for women, Brazilian, because they lost with later champion, China.
China, yeah.
And a very similar thing happened to Poland this year for men, because they lost with France.
It's a totally shame that a player like Bartosz Kurek, he won't have an Olympic medal. It's a shame.
It's not shame. It's just unluck. It's not shame. Simply, France was better in that match. I was first referee in that match, and
really?
Yeah, and it was 2-1 for Poland, and they were on the way, and suddenly France said, "Okay, nothing to lose, just win." France was unhappy because they lost the chance to be in quarterfinals in Brazil, in Rio, because they lost with Brazil.
I know.
In Brazil, I was also in that match as a
really
Brazil, France, and France was very unhappy, but not against referees. In that
hey, you're right. And France ended the pool play in Tokyo 2-3.
Yes.
Nobody gave France as a favorite, and me in my analysis, in all the programs of analysis, I told all the guys, hey, France will be in the medals. Oh, are you crazy? You love USA and you're putting USA away. USA will not qualify. They have no team. And that's for real. But well, for you, it was totally different. You were in the court, you watched the game, you ref the game, and I can imagine it was pretty amazing.
It was interesting to see, or it was not shame, but it was sad for me to see how they lost the spirit during the end of the fourth, and especially in the fifth set, because they were completely frozen. Polish team was frozen, and the coach, unfortunately, was also not able to do anything to break this ice. And I'm not I cannot analyze the work of coaches and the players, but that was just my observation as a referee, that because you can feel the tension in the team or the joy of the team. In this moment in Poland, there was absence of emotions. It was not negative emotion. There was absence of any emotion. And on the French, it was French. It was smile, flying, and simply enjoying the game, and that worked. Yeah.
What can you tell us about the? You mentioned that the first referee is in the front row, in the best seat to watch the game. What can you tell us about extraordinary Erwin Engapet, who outside the court, it's we won't talk about the Erwin outside the court, but inside the court, it was the heart of France.
Yeah, we can say he was, but not alone. Yeah, it's important that he scores the points. If he scores the points, he is happy. Everybody is happy. It doesn't mean that the other players are not so good, but he can help a lot in the spirit of the game. So he is emotional. He can be against the referee as well. He can explode sometimes. It's very difficult to manage his behavior.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better not to see everything, because as soon as you try to do the eye contact with him, it can be a little bit offensive. So to prevent that, sometimes it's better not to look at his eyes and to handle this like in normal life. Yeah, it's not only volleyball. Sometimes it's better not to look at the person, not to provoke at something like this. But it's sometimes pleasure to observe the players like he is, because you can see that he can win the match in that moment alone. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
This is amazing, because all the players going with him, and this is amazing. For me, it's nice to observe the positive emotions of players when they are in a good spirit. Yeah, it's opposite when it's not going. Very similar you can see in Japanese team. If you have the team of Japan, man, there is, if everything is good with Nishida, Ishikawa, and this young one, I forgot the name, Ran, something like this. Mm-hmm. It's amazing to observe, because anything, whenever they touch the ball, it's a point. And they are happy, the people are happy, not in Japan now, but before in World Cup, they were, if you have 12,000 spectators in Japanese sport hall with Japanese team, this is amazing. And if they are playing like this, they can beat Brazil, they can beat France, they can beat Russia, they can beat USA without not any problem. I would not say without any problems, but they can do that. They are not so tall, but they are athletic, and they are fighters. They are samurais, which are fighting for their country. And this is with Slovenians the same. When you observe Urnaut, Sten, and all the other players, even they are suffering on the court, because some of them are already older, but they are fighting with their heart. And this is the thing which is beautiful on that. You could see this on Micheletto in Italy. Why they were European champions.
Or with the Argentinians. I think that
I cannot say Argentinians, it was amazing for me. Yeah, it was amazing.
Of course. Nobody was expecting a medal from Argentina, either me. I think Argentina, they will go to the quarterfinals, but I never thought that they will be a bronze medal. I'm very happy for that, because I have a very, very good friends in Argentina. But Argentina showed they have plenty of heart. Luciano Checo, Facu Conte, Marcelo Méndez, they decided to do this for their country, for their volleyball in their country, not for them.
They have very good coaching staff, because they can leave them playing. And this is also important. This is also in France. Okay, you can learn something like in USA, everything linked. Okay, you must do in this moment this. But sometimes you need to leave the player to play his own idea, because this is the big player. If he or she can do something unpredictable, but 100% working. And if you have a player, or maybe more players like this, then you must win. And this was with Argentina in that match. They were simply prepared. Like, they were emotionally playing, they did something unpredictable, and they simply was more hungry for the medal than Brazil. And that was
Oh yeah,
And
no.
okay,
Come on, come on, come on.
I come back to this Tokyo nomination.
Please. Hey,
That
I told you, Juraj, at the start of the talk, I can talk 3 straight days of volleyball. I have no problem.
so in Tokyo was strange because actually we were joking about this with some of the referees that we received already nominations for 3 Olympic Games, yeah, but only 2 of them were to Tokyo. We received the nomination in January again, or maybe beginning of February. I don't remember.
And also Susanna texts you.
Ah, okay. The best regards. She did. Not this time. We were already, how to say, it was almost immediately because we were one group already from Rio as a referees on WhatsApp. So immediately when somebody received the nomination, then he made it public, and then it spread like a storm afterwards, or a tsunami, let's say.
Yeah.
So we received this information very far in beginning of January, but then let's say week by week and day by day, we were afraid that there will be a problem. And finally, there was a problem. I think in May they sent us already a message that sorry, but Olympic Games maybe will be postponed, but we will see. So then
And
we were waiting.
so sorry, there were fewer referees, right, from Rio.
Yes, because they were nominated specially challenge referees as extra. So in total, it was the same, but fewer as before because the challenge were extra. Yeah.
Right.
And next year, then we received the nomination a little bit later. It was, I think, in March. And okay, we were until last moment we were not sure if Olympic Games will be, because all the time there was rumor from Japan, they don't want, they want, they don't want, they want. But okay, we were preparing as normal. We were already in Rimini, and we received several times emails that we have to fill some forms and prepare for quarantine and PCR testing and everything. So it was already something like, okay, will be, not. So we just wait. And finally it was without spectators, but it was.
How different was that with all your experience working in different countries, different venues with a lot of people? How different was first Rimini, of course, and then Tokyo, because it's Olympics. It was obviously it was a different atmosphere, but do you think that impacted the game, the players with no crowds?
Yeah. Okay. VNL was very special. It was like a Warner Bros. Production, some film studio, no tribunes. So it was completely different. I don't want to compare because it was making a movie from each game. It was not.
Yeah, at that time in VNL, I made 2 or 3 shows with my very good friend Clayton Lucas. He's an amazing guy. And one day he took his phone and, hey, this is the restroom. These are the training courts. Yeah, it was different because they were warehouses in Rimini. But well, let's focus in Tokyo. To enter that beautiful stadium, the Areki Arena, without fans, how was that?
It was disaster. In my opinion, it was disaster for any sport, not only for volleyball. If the players, like they were the top players in the world, and their performance was better than year or 2 years before, was one of the best performances in my opinion.
And a lot of them, sorry, you're right, a lot of them, for a lot of them, there were their last Olympics.
Yeah. And for me, okay, I was in Japan also in 2019 for the World Cup and 2018 for World Championships.
Yeah.
And I was with Yohei Kang from Korea in the match USA-Japan for the 5th place in Yokohama Arena, 12,000 spectators, full, cheering, amazing. And suddenly you come here to a match where you have only quick moppers and ball retrievers, or even no ball retrievers because it was other system, and maybe 50 people of Olympic family from some countries, but that was all. And beautiful arena, almost useless. This was very, very sad. Very, very sad, I would say. For me, it's like playing the regional level competition with 50 spectators. but
right.
of course at higher level. So this was missing a lot. This was missing a lot, and you couldn't hide it also on TV. That was the big difference from VNL. In VNL, with this music and with these replays, you could partly hide these missing people on screen. But in this arena, when I saw the replays afterwards, I watched now during Christmas the finals. They put it on Slovak TV, so I watched my final, and I could see it when they showed the empty stands, and it was very sad, unfortunately. But okay, that's life, and we have to hope that in future will not be. I know I was 1 month ago in Belgium for Champions League, and it was again the same, because in Belgium was enforced no spectators. So there was Champions League between Dynamo Moscow, top team, and Marseille. They were so happy they will have this kind of team at home, and no spectators. So unfortunately, it's live currently now, and we have to hope it will be not so long.
Yeah, well, yeah, we hope so, because I think volleyball is a great sport. I love volleyball, and it's a very enjoyable game. Sorry, it's a very enjoyable sport to watch live.
Yeah, that's truth. But whenever I have opportunity to go here close, I have 200 kilometers. I said already, Krakow, Poland. There was European Championships matches, was playing Poland, Serbia. I was there with my wife, with my daughters, and we really enjoyed. And they said, okay, next time we take the white T-shirts and we will support Poland. Okay, I said, okay, I cannot take white shirts. They know me too much. But they really like the atmosphere they can create. The spectators can create there. Yeah. So
and especially in Poland with national team, they go crazy.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Juraj, I have a message from, sorry, my Slovakian is not so good. Maciej Twardowski.
Poland. He's from Poland.
Okay, sorry. They say it's always awesome to listen to this young, smart, and experienced guy. Talking about you, of course, not me.
I thought about you, but okay. I will be with him in 1 month approximately in Champions League. So best regards to him. If he's listening, so I'm looking forward to meet him there.
Perfect. Well, just to close about Olympics, which is amazing. How was the competition for you? Your first games with different atmosphere, the teams, and at what time do you think, or did you think you had the opportunity to go for the gold medal match?
Well, okay, I was not thinking about this. I was expecting that for gold medal match will be nominated 2 female referees. I was really expecting this. There was Susanna, there was Sumie from Japan, was Yohei.
Well, in Rio, the women's gold medal match was a all-women match with Susanna and Patty Rolfe.
Yeah, I remember that. So I was expecting the same here, especially for Yohei. Would be beautiful to be finally in final, and also for Susanna to finish last FIVB competition in the final. Okay, the decision was different. I accept. I was, of course, happy. I was extremely happy. I had the opportunity to do this match with Hernan Casamichela.
Very nice guy, Hernan, the Argentina. By the way, my very good friend Fabian Concia from Mendoza, Argentina is here. He says, regards, Juraj and Alex. Saludos, Fabian.
Best regards to Fabian. With Fabian, we spent nice time also in Japan, also in Nanjing in China was fantastic, and also in some junior competitions we met first time. I think it was in Morocco, if I remember well. So I was not expecting I will be in final. I was really I wanted that they are nominated, but okay, this is the result. Good. I was happy, of course. You cannot be not happy with that. I was more than happy, but it was also a little bit, how to say, it's a big responsibility, because these are the matches where many people watch. Brazil, USA, it's never an easy game. Finally, it was a relatively one-sided game, but with beautiful rallies. And happily, there were not too many difficult situations to solve, and we survived without big problems. And also with the help of Hernan, and we enjoyed the match. And after the match, I hugged him, and it was maybe more for me pleasure, but also for him, I'm sure. And it was very emotional, especially after the match. It's not easy to hide these emotions before. You must be focused. It was last match of the tournament, one of the last matches in the Olympic Games, we may say. And not easy. Everybody already relaxed, watching, maybe packing, and you still have to work. I think it's good, but during this kind of events, I every time say that I would offer this chance to all of the referees who are nominated for this kind of event. And that were also words of Willy Paredes, who said that everybody here can be nominated, but they had to make the choice. And it doesn't mean that the others are not enough good, but they just simply made the choice. So
there's only one place.
Yeah, it is the problem. But it was fantastic to be nominated for Olympic Games, and it was even more fantastic to be nominated for finals. And thanks to all those who are behind this decision, and especially for those who helped me to grow so high. Yeah, because this is not so easy to get there. And okay, now I'm emotional a little bit, but really I feel now that that this is something quite special. And thanks to all of the people who helped me.
Thanks for sharing, Juraj. And what was the impact in your family, and what was the impact for Slovakian volleyball that you refed in the gold medal the women's gold medal match in Tokyo?
Well, one of my friends realized this or got this information, not from me. I actually sent this message only to my wife. And but okay, there are many channels how the information is distributed in among the referees and other channels. And there was a president of our national federation who was in the jury, Lubor Halanda, and he sent this information to Slovak Volleyball Federation as well.
Let me tell you, Uber Halanda was here in Mexico for Olympic qualification tournament in 2016.
Yes,
I met him. Yeah, very nice guy.
So he was before president of the Volleyball Federation. Now he's honorary president. So he sent this message to Slovak Volleyball Federation, and they send it also to a Slovak television. So actually, it was interesting that was quite nice information around the community where I live. I am at university, and I received many messages from my colleagues that they watched the game, even it was at 6:30 in the morning live, and they watched the game because the night before they received the information from the TV news that the Slovak referee will be in the final match of the Olympic tournament. So it was quite nice. And I received also a special medal from our rector of our university that I was nominated at Olympic Games as a final referee. So that was nice. Yeah. So it was good, and I'm happy that I could make my closest people happy and proud of me.
Wow! Congratulations, Juraj. Always it's a goal. It's an important goal. It's I think for international referee, it's a dream to be in a gold medal match, and I congratulate you.
Thank you. You know, if you do, sometimes they ask me after so many years, what is your motivation to be referee? You were there, and etc. And I think the biggest there are several motivating factors, like meeting friends and staying in the community and enjoying volleyball, etc. But one of the motivating thing is that you can, with this way, make your family, your colleagues to be proud of you. And this is one of the things I like on this, that if you reach something like this, you do not need to be ashamed of that. Opposite, you can be proud that they are proud of you. They are, this is, I want to tell you, you know, this is, I was now in hospital with one colleague, and he stopped another colleague. And this is the guy I told you in August, he is in the final of Olympic Games. And he was maybe more happy than I was in that moment, because I don't like it so much. But I was happy for him that he is happy. Yeah, so this is probably the emotion which is behind this.
Wow, amazing. Thanks for sharing, Uri. Well, I have a few questions here, well, almost in the same way. Which is the place you like the most to go work as a referee?
Well, it's difficult. Uh, it's
Or
difficult to
or
say.
or you can tell me, I enjoy this for the weather, I enjoy this for the food, I enjoy this for.
Uh, okay, I like to go to Japan. Everything prepared, passionate spectators, everything clean. Yeah, so well organized, perfect organization, nice people. I like Italy, like a family. Yeah, very good friends. I like Poland because really, I have many friends in Poland. To go to Russia, it's every time interesting to meet older friends, new friends. The benefit is I can speak with them. Any country, Czech Republic, Hungary. The benefit of volleyball is that it's not so important where you go, but with whom you go or who you will meet. And this is what I'm looking forward. I don't check in nominations which are the teams, but I usually check who is my colleague there. And then I'm, oh, fantastic, we will meet again. And I send message sometimes, okay, let's meet there, etc. Of course, it's important to know which teams are playing and where you go. But this is nice. Sometimes I meet new referees. I will be in 2 weeks in France for Champions League with Marika Boulanger from Belgium. I never met her before, except of 1 month ago in Belgium for Champions League, and she was reserve referee. And we already made friendship, and now I will be very happy to meet her again there. And this is all about. Maybe the reserve will be Fabrice Kolatos, I hope, because it's not so far from Lyon where he lives. If he will be there, it will be fantastic. If I go to Serbia, many friends. If you go to Spain, wherever. And then, of course, there are destinations where you go further, yeah, to know the country. For me, was fantastic experience in Argentina. First time, the only time I was there in 2013. It was first time I was in the southern part of the America. Amazing experience, and the passion of the people was fantastic who were around the volleyball. So it's not easy to say which country. So I say every time, whichever country it is, important you meet the people you like, and you can make friends with them.
Yeah, right. Which was the most, not the most difficult, but the most challenging game for you to work in?
Oh, I can tell you, one of the most challenging games was almost 19 years ago.
19 years ago.
Yes, 19. It was in 2003 in Ankara, in Turkey. It was European Championships finals, women. Imagine, I was that time 28, and I received nomination for finals of European Championships women between Turkey and Poland.
Oh.
In Turkey, in Ankara. I was the youngest referee there, of course, and there were nominated referees like Patrick Rashard, Jarmo Salonen, Zorica Bielic, and many others at this tournament. And I received the nomination for final as the first referee. The second referee was for final, yeah. And the first referee was Karin Zahorcova. It was a big test for me and big challenge because it was first time when opposite in a VIP tribune was sitting President of Turkey, President of CEV, and all these jury members, and I don't know who else. And that was a challenge. And 6,000 spectators, line judges who were a little bit, how to say, proud. They are Turkish. Politely, yeah.
I understand that. I understand.
And okay.
And women volleyball in Turkey is big.
Yes. The hall was full. It was 6,000 people inside and another 2,000 outside in front of a big screen. Amazing, amazing, amazing. A big pressure, I can tell you. In that match, Poland won 3-0. So a little bit disappointment for the home crowd. Very big pleasure for Polish. But that was probably the biggest challenge because it was first time such a high level match with so many spectators I had before, but this was really one of the most challenging games. Luckily, we survived, still alive. And also, I think there were only 1 or 2 cards, not so big problem. And I could handle also these line judges. Now it would be much easier with challenge system. And I can tell you after maybe 15 years, I was again in Turkey, and one of the line judges came to me and he told me, hey, referee, if possible, can I talk? Can my father talk with you now? Okay, why not?
Outside the gym in a dark
Outside,
car.
inside the no, inside the ring. I said, why not? His father was line judge in that game.
All right.
And he came to me to say sorry for our performance, but we were forced to do it like that. So it was nice reminiscence to hear that. So this was one of the most challenging games. Okay, there were many, but this was really really difficult. Not only emotionally, but also to handle the whole situation.
And I made that question because I made this question to all of the referees here in the show, because a lot of people who never have been a referee can think, oh yeah, the gold medal match in Tokyo, and no, of course not. No, and it's amazing that you are telling us and the reason that game in Turkey, and it's pretty understandable.
And I can tell you there was another one. It was National League here in Slovakia, where I had to give some red cards also to coaches. It was semi-final of our national competition in 98, maybe, so many years ago. And I was not sleeping well, maybe 2 or 3 nights afterwards. We were discussing with the second referee the match on bus coming back from there. And I was not happy with my performance. And then I received nomination in 2 days for the bronze medal match with a team who was complaining about this performance. And I arrived to the hall, and first the coach and then the captain came to me and said, sorry, you were right, and sorry for our behavior. And from that time, I had no problems with this team. And the third bronze medal match was 3-2, was tough, but much calmer than the previous one. So it was much easier. So sometimes you feel it as a challenge, you feel it as a difficult, but later on it helps you or it feels to be much easier.
Oh, amazing. You're right. Thanks for sharing. And I know this question is difficult for you referees, but I have to make that. I have to do that. Which player, if you were not referee, which player would you pay a ticket to go a gym to watch play a player, female or male? You know what I mean? Which player do you like to see, even if you are a referee? Their style, their passion, their technique.
It's difficult. It's a difficult question. I liked Nikola Grbic, for example, as a player. Yeah. Not now, but before, and I really paid tickets to go there. I like the emotions of French national team. I like Polish national team. For me, it's another player I really appreciate is Maxim Mikhailov from Russia. Maybe you remember.
Yeah, right.
And before in Russia,
Olympic champion.
Yeah. And before in Russia, other players who were really top players, and one of the 6 Olympic medals.
Sergei Tetyukhin.
Exactly, Tetyukhin. Yeah, his son is now playing as well.
Yeah.
So these are the names you want to see, not only because or how they play, but also what is their philosophy, how they behave on the court. This is amazing for me. I every time appreciate players who are fantastic in their skills, but at the same time, they can be very, very polite. Okay, you mentioned in Argentina that you have many players, yeah, top level players, and you mentioned Facundo Conte and
Luciano De
Checo, etc. But this is important, that Luciano De Checo is a setter. He's a clever guy. He can be emotionally completely furious, but he comes to you as a captain and he says, sorry, do you think this is? And I say, yes, okay. So he can still stay polite when communicating with you. The same from USA, there is Matthew Anderson.
Matthew, yeah, it's amazing, Matthew Anderson.
He's a gentleman. Yeah, these are the players I appreciate. They can be like this, but they are still polite when communicating with you. And this is important. What I think is that we should be every time polite, because then it's much easier for us to expect this politeness from players, from coaches. So if you are polite, they are usually polite. It's not every time like this. So there are many players who I appreciate, but mostly the character is excellent player, but at the same time a personality which is not okay. I understand that sometimes if you are furious of yourself and then the referee makes the mistake, if player like this comes to you and he's really angry, then you should immediately think, probably I really made a mistake, because it's not normal that this kind of reaction is there. So this can also help you to observe this kind of reactions. I again didn't answer completely to your question, but you understand what's behind what.
Yeah, right. Amazing. And again, I think I know it's difficult for you as referees, but what is the most challenging coach to ref?
Currently
besides Bernardo Resende, of course.
Oh, Bernardo Resende is a dedicated guy. Yeah.
Well, Vital Heinen.
Okay. Also, okay. No.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's my joke.
No. It's not. I understand. I met Vital as a player. I was referee for him when he was playing in Belgium.
In Mosaic.
In Mosaic, yes. He was captain, and I was referee that time there.
So very nice setter, very good setter.
Yeah. So I remember him as a player. I remember him as a coach, as in Germany, of course, in Poland, and we have a strange relationship. We respect each other. Yeah, I know that he likes to speak.
A lot.
I like to speak as well. But for me, for example, before the match, I don't want to speak with coaches because I need to focus. Maybe coach has nothing to do. I don't know. He's waiting until the match starts, until gives a lineup, everything is prepared. But for me as a referee, I have completely other duties. I have some other ideas. And he wants to speak with me. I don't want to speak with him in that moment. Yeah, so it's sometimes not easy to handle this kind of situations. And then, of course, he also belongs to coaches who try to use any opportunity to win. Of course, I'm not against that. There are rules, and they use them, sometimes a little abuse. But then we are referees who should tell them this is already too much, or this is not in the rules, this is not according. And if you have this kind of relationship from here to here, then it's okay. Yeah. Well, I tell you, I was in this match, in this quarterfinal, Poland-France, and Vital was on the Polish side, and I was all the time waiting when the explosion starts, when he starts to fight with us.
Because I think for Vital, I knew Vital 6 years ago. He came to Mexico with as a coach for Germany. Mm-hmm. I was the guide for that team. He's a lion in the court, but outside the court is the funniest guy in the world. But I think it's a part of the strategy of Vital, no? You know, it's hey, I will push the referee until he wants.
But I was happy that he didn't try this in this match. So for me, it was a little bit, how to say, good. Okay, now I'm happy that he didn't try. But until the end, I was waiting. I was expecting that. And it is also important to know that if you have a coach like this, you must be not 100%, but 150% prepared, focused. Even the match is going very smoothly. There's still even 14-10 in the fifth set can be an explosion, and you must be prepared for this kind of explosion to solve the problem if you have this. So there are not real problem makers. Okay, there are problem makers, coaches, but with the correct handling, you can do that, in my opinion. Of course, if somebody wants to destroy you, he or she can destroy you. Yeah, especially we have this kind of problem sometimes in our national competitions, and it's not only in Slovakia, that there are coaches who are, let's say, discouraging the young referees from being or following their career because, okay, with sometimes 2, 3, 4 sentences can psychologically destroy you, and this is not correct. So we try to educate also these coaches, please don't do that, because, okay, now maybe he makes 2-3 mistakes, but if he will not go through this phase, he will never be better.
Yeah.
He will never be better. It's especially with women, this is big problem that male coaches are rude for female referees. I cannot understand this, because this is really something I don't like. So it's about education of coaches, and okay, they don't like when they are educated, but we can educate them with the way they don't feel that. This is important. It should be done some way of politeness, and usually it can be happen like this.
Well, but I mentioned the Bernardo and Vital, but please give me your names. Which is the most challenging coach?
They are challenging. There is Giovanni Guidetti, who is challenging from Turkey. I remember him also as a coach from German national team women, and it was Olympic qualification in 2008 in Germany, and I gave him red card because he was furious about one thing he didn't understand. It was a set of the libero in the front zone by fingers, and then the setter was front zone, but she put the ball on the other side, and he didn't understand what I called, and he was furious about. Of course, he had to receive a card. But after the match, he apologized, and we are good friends. So they are challenging to be controlled, but they are not. I think they are not enemies of referees generally. They are just trying to get this benefit. So I will not tell you who is the most challenging. There are some referees, some coaches, and okay, that's enough.
Okay, we have some messages. Lungu Silvian or Lungu Silvian, thanks
From
you.
Romania.
From Romania. And Danica Victorini Lisa, greeting from Maribor, Slovenia. This time, interesting topics.
Yes, Danica is a Slovak international referee, but now she's at the tournament in Maribor for qualification for the European Championships. So she's now there. So best regards also to her. She's one of our 2 female Slovak international referees we have.
Perfect, amazing.
And with Silvian, we spent nice time. I think it was in Rzeszów many years ago.
In where?
Rzeszów in Poland.
Oh, Poland, okay. Let's talk a little about Juraj, about technology. We talked 1 hour and a half ago about the importance of knowing the rules and get experience and know English. And I think that the technology obviously is helping in a lot of things in volleyball, but at the end, the referee, he has to understand the game. You may have the best technology, the biggest screen, or speak the most perfect English, but if the referee don't understand the game, it's out, I think. What do you think technology, how do you think technology, in your opinion, of course, is helping the referees, is helping the game? And what do you think we can see probably in the future about technology helping the development of volleyball?
Yeah, it serves a lot, but it can destroy everything, the technology. Yeah, so I think the mastering of technologies by referee, and especially by including these technologies to the normal decision-making process is crucial. It's completely different to be referee without and with challenge system. It's different to be referee without or with tablets, with electronic score sheet.
Or with headsets.
Or with headsets. So this is very important. I remember when I returned back from, it was World League finals in Rio, I think. Oh, okay, it's not so important. But I returned back, and 2015, and I had to go to Egypt, to Cairo, for Africa Nations Cup or some competition like this. No headsets, no electronic score sheet, no challenge, no tablets, completely different refereeing from what I did 5 or 6 days before. And you have to adjust that. And I call this a pure refereeing. Yeah, this was a pure refereeing without technologies. Not bad, I like this pure refereeing. Still, now in our national competition, we don't have challenge system in all matches. We don't have communication system. We have e-score sheet. That's a good tool, but without tablets. If I don't bring my tablet, I don't have tablet. And it's good for me because this is a good training for me to still keep the habits. If you are used all the time to the full technology and suddenly something is not working, you can feel lost. And this is very bad. You can feel completely lost. Suddenly you are looking for line judges, which you usually don't have. And then where are my, there is line judge. So you don't see the touch, you show out, and then you look and there is touch by the line judge. And it can make some problem. I remember in Berlin during one qualification tournament for Olympic Games in 2016. No, it's not important. There was a match when Drzyzga from Poland, the setter.
The setter, yeah.
Yeah, was from in Rzeszów, playing in Rzeszów, and they played against another team. I don't remember who was on the other side. Russia, Kazan. And in one moment, he was in front zone, putting the ball on the other side. And I checked the tablet, and he was in back zone. I called back row setter attack in front from front zone. And immediately explosion, I'm front zone. And then I looked at the tablet, and in that moment, it rotated. And I said to myself, how stupid am I? Why am I you never can rely on technologies, especially if it is with Wi-Fi. And it was only because if I don't look at the tablet, if I'm in my competition, I would wait 1-2 seconds and I will see what's happening. Here, I was immediately here, didn't check more court and whistled because I had technologies and I made stupid mistake. And I said myself, stop it. This can help you, but this can destroy you. So that's why I say every time also to referees in Slovakia, when we have some seminars or something, be very careful with technologies. If we have challenge system, it's amazing, but it's completely different to be referee with challenge and without.
In Norseca, we don't have challenge system.
We have in Champions League here, so regularly we meet it, of course, in FIVB. In Europe, in Slovakia, only for some playoff matches or TV matches. So sometimes we have. Sometimes you are lucky, sometimes not. With challenge, it's extremely important, in my opinion, to be able to, how to say, psychologically accept that your decision was changed by challenge. Because if you cannot accept that, then you can still think, okay, I lost already second challenge. I'm very bad referee. What will the others think about me? Forget it. Who cares? Okay, somebody cares, but I don't like if somebody cares how many challenges you lost. You can lose 2 challenges in 5-set match and you will be hero because that were only these 2 challenges. But somebody may say you lost 100% of challenges. It's stupid.
Yeah, right.
But you may have, again, 5-set match, 10 challenges, you win all 10 challenges, but the teams are complaining still after the match about your refereeing. You won all 10 challenges, but they are still complaining because your way of refereeing was not completely good for them, let's say, yeah? Because both teams may complain about this because of the handling. Because what can happen? There is a challenge and you overrule during what you see, and then you allow the challenge, you say, it can be confusion, it can be delay, and the teams don't like that, yeah? So sometimes we have now in evaluation how many challenges in favor of referees, how many challenges in favor of the teams, and this is there. I think this is not important information. You can collect, you can make some statistics, what kind of challenges are most often, etc., but not to punish or blame the referees for that, especially if you don't know, because it's different if you lose the challenge with 2 millimeters touching the line, sorry, or the ball was totally in. But this you cannot see on the report. You can see on the report only you lost challenge. Yeah?
It does exist, right? That report?
Yeah, it exists. Yeah, it exists. Right. Yeah, unfortunately. but I don't think this is the most important. We can analyze after the game. Okay, this was no problem because if there is moving the small finger that you cannot see even on the big screen, of course, in the small screen they can. And if you lose this kind of touch, who can blame you for this? Nobody can blame you for this. Yeah, this is something which belongs to the game. In older volleyball, nobody would say anything. That everybody would accept it was out. No discussion. Now we have more and more things which can be, or more mistakes which can be challenged. Could be at one moment a little bit dangerous, because even if you show the result of the challenge, it's still not clear for everybody. And this creates discussions. And challenge should stop discussion, not create discussion. If challenge creates discussion, it's not good. It's something is wrong. Maybe the picture was wrong, the view of camera, the wrong camera was chosen, or
the angle of the camera,
angle,
the
yeah.
definition of the camera.
Exactly. So then we have problems. So there must be something changed. What I think would be very nice if we can introduce as soon as possible with this Hawkeye system, that the ball in and out is automatically decided, not to wait for challenge, but to make it automatically that the referee can decide before check in or out and then decide. Yeah, that would be much easier. It's not so easy, but I think they are working on this. I hope it will be prepared for maybe next or afterwards, for maybe for World Championships. We'll see. Maybe they will be able to prepare. Okay, this kind of thing. We'll see. So this is my view on a technology. It's a good servant, but can be very, very dangerous. So we must be very careful with this.
Yeah, right. There are a lot of opinions, but I think yeah, technology should help the game and should stop discussions, not create discussions, or not make a game larger, because volleyball, we are fighting with that to not get longer the game. And I think sometimes in some challenges last for, when a challenge lasts 4 or 5 minutes, I think the viewer in his home is, hey, let's watch another thing. No volleyball. Volleyball is boring. It's long lasting.
It must be very fast. If you wait too long, it's disturbing the game too much. And also, it's other thing of the psychology of referee. For example, if you have decided several times you were correct with the challenge, yeah, maybe 3-4 times, no lost challenge yet, don't think it will stay like that until end of the game, because next point can be opposite. And if you start to think, oh, how easy it is today, how good decisions I'm making today, immediately it will come back. It's like a karma. Yeah? It's immediately comes back to you, and you will be punished with a lost challenge with 20 centimeters. You didn't see the ball was in. So be very careful with let's say, to be over happy with your performance. It's I think one of the biggest risks during the match, that you start to be too calm, you lose the concentration, you lose your focus, you start to be too, how to say, too happy, to discussing too much with your second referee, because automatically the problem can happen.
Yeah, I like the word you use, the back to pure refereeing, to the basics with no technology. I think that must be part of the training of the international referees. Okay, we will ref VNL with all the technology, but tomorrow we will ref some national tournament, local tournament with no technology. Okay, let's see. I think it's an idea.
I think for referees from federations where they don't use these technologies, or for older referees who were educated before these technologies, this will not be a problem. But it can be a problem for younger international referees,
yeah,
from stronger federations where they are used for all this service. And if this service is missing, then it can be a problem. Yeah, so then we must be a little bit, allowed to say, a little bit careful with. I remember excuse during one debriefing after the game, but on the tablet, the position was correct. This is not an excuse. What's on the tablet? Who cares what's on the tablet? It's important what's according to the rules on the court. Yeah? So it's also not good to rely on technologies, but also not to excuse by technologies. Yeah, right. Because it is really dangerous. We should feel the game on the court.
That's right. That's I totally agree with you, Juraj. Here says my very good friend Temelis Mikalis, greeting from Greece. Regards, Alex and Juraj, international referee from Greece.
He's now a member of the European Refereeing Commission. Best regards to him. He was excellent referee from Greece as well.
Okay, Juraj, we are close to the end. It has been a very nice talk with you. I'm very glad to have you here in the 166th episode of the Volley Talks. Thanks again for being here. What's coming next? I think fortunately the volleyball activities were retaken last year, not in the speed we can wish or like. But what are your goals in the short term? Are you nominated for competitions right now in 2022? What do you expect of this year? You have in Europe World Championships in Russia. Mexico team will be there again. But do you have any nominations? Do you have information now in January for what's happened to you in 2012? In 22, sorry.
Not yet. I think they will make nominations after the meeting of the refereeing commission, which should be now in January. And okay, it's in their hands. We will see. There are some VNL games. There are World Championships, as you mentioned already. Currently now we have European competitions next week. The week after, on the 18th of January, I will be in France for Béziers against Kazan Women Champions League. Then I go to Finland in the beginning of February again for Champions League, and then to Portugal.
Wow, amazing!
So full action in these first 2 months of the year, and then we will see. It's open. It's open. It's not so easy to be free all the time from work, but okay, I try to do my best with family, with my job, and also with volleyball. Hopefully, it will be the same for this year. Hopefully all of us will be healthy and the competition will be allowed to run with spectators.
Yeah, right. That's important thing. Spectators are a very important part of the game, I think.
Agree, totally agree.
Okay.
So thank you again for inviting me.
I have two more questions, little questions. Have you ever been here in North America, in Mexico, in the United States?
In Mexico, not yet. In United States, I was in Chicago for VNL finals.
Oh yeah, 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yes, and also in Tulsa, in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
For VNL, it was USA Brazil matches, and also in Canada, but not for volleyball. But not in Mexico. Not yet in Mexico. In Miami, that was closed, I think.
Yeah, more or less.
Let's say.
Well, maybe you have never been in Mexico, but do you know we have a very good food, Mexican food. Have you ever tried Mexican food?
Not so often. I like Spanish food. I'm not sure if it's too different, but probably yes. But I'm not. I usually do not go to Mexican restaurants. Yeah, but I like steaks. Of course, this is not bad. I know that you have for sure very good meat, as it's in other Spanish-speaking countries. And okay, I like vegetables and I like maize. So I'm sure I would not die from hunger in Mexico.
For sure not. Or if not, ask a lot. All of the international referees I met in Durango, I gave them habaneros chiles, a pot of habaneros, and they love it. They love it because we in Mexico love chile and habanero, spicy food.
I received from yes, so I received several times.
Okay. Anything else you want to add, Juraj? I know it's late in Slovakia. Thanks a lot. Thanks again for being here. You want to say something else for all the people who are watching and listening?
I just want to thank you and for this invitation. And also, I hope the listeners are not yet tired from my ideas, which are sometimes not in concordance with everybody. But I think it's just my point of view on refereeing and on the volleyball, and this is important that we share our experiences, because from this we can learn.
Yeah,
So,
that's the spirit of this show, this podcast, these talks, to hear different points of view, to hear different opinions. Volleyball, there are not just one volleyball. There are a lot of different styles, schools, and point of view of volleyball. And I really enjoy the talk. Juraj, thanks for being here. It's almost midnight, right now in Slovakia. Again, thanks for being here. My very good friend, Brilly Costero from Mexico, volleyball lover, says excellent show. Thanks a lot, Brilly. Well, Juraj, thanks again. I will just give me a minute. I will take a picture of the screen. Please say hi.
hi.
Thanks a lot, Juraj. I hope to meet you in person this year pretty soon. If it's in Mexico, better. But it's difficult because well, this year we are no longer participating in VNL. But well, we have the challenger this year here in Mexico. Probably next year we can be again in VNL. Mexico is going to World Championships in Moscow, in Russia. But well, it was a pleasure for me, Juraj.
Best regards.
See ya.
Bye. Bye. Thank you very much.